Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to a News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. I'm Joseph Lopez. Let's take a look at our headlines. The Trade Minister commends Canadian Financial Institute Scotiabank as it celebrates its 60th anniversary of doing business here in Trinidad and Tobago. Member of Parliament of Pointe-a-Pierre praises his colleagues for infrastructural work completed in his constituency as the post-budget debate comes to an end in the lower house. And the 9th installment of the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival officially opens its doors to the public with the premiere of Pan, Our Music Odyssey. Thank you for joining us. Top of the news this hour. Chief Justice Ivor Archie delivered his law term opening address titled Reframing Performance Through Innovation, where he outlined the way forward through the use of technology and modern approaches to handling this country's legal system. Now, the Chief Justice is also optimistic that a modernized judiciary will enhance its performance.
The proposed modernization of the judiciary will enhance the performance of the nation's courts. This according to Chief Justice Ivor Archie, who was speaking during the ceremonial opening of the law term. In drawing light to the achievements of the courts in the past year, the CJ pointed to a refocus and structuring of the judiciary if it is a see-forward movement in the legislative arm of the state.
Consonant with the established long-term vision of the judiciary, this year our strategic focus has been encapsulated in the theme Reframing Performance Through Innovation. It addresses the need to maintain high levels of excellence and productivity while responding creatively both to old problems and rapidly changing circumstances. We consider it to be important for the judiciary, while our relatively young democracy is in the state of what I call recreative flux, necessary for our development and self-definition to hold the center. In that regard, I believe that we have turned in a solid performance this past year, not without its challenges, but devoid of any major upheaval.
Addressing moves to amend laws regarding criminal procedures and plea bargaining, the CJ noted while he was in support of the changes, there was a need to change the outlook of these proceedings if the backlog was ever to be cleared.
We are at the limit of our capacity if we choose to approach criminal trial procedure in the way that has become customary. We simply cannot go on this way. I continue to plead for serious consideration of whether the system of trial by jury should be retained, at least in its present form. What is clear to me is that it cannot work as currently deployed. And of course, I will continue to question the need for any form of preliminary inquiry process at all. Both of these reforms, I hasten to add, will require the cooperation of the prosecution and the defense bar, since, at least for the time being, effective sanctions for non-compliance are limited. I would urge a rapid introduction of videotaped caution interviews. It has had a dramatic effect on delay and the number of voir dires in other Caribbean jurisdictions. As has been pointed out before, voir dires occupy a considerable amount of trial time. Videotaping of interviews also serves to protect the rights of persons in custody by ensuring that proper protocols are followed. This results in fewer challenges at the trial stage.
In light of an attempt at making the judiciary known to the public, the Chief Justice says it will embark on a social media drive.
In the new law term, change teams created at the summit will continue their work, assisted by training from facilitators on how to handle the change management process. In the area of social media, we are aware that the way in which people source information about the world and matters of interest to them has also changed. Our methods of educating the public and making our services and processes transparent and accessible as part of our commitment to accountability, relevance, and attracting public trust and confidence must also change. Plans are underway to establish the judiciary's social media presence, and in the coming year, enabling technology will be utilized to create a presence on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. This will be supported by the judiciary's social media policy, which will address content management, privacy, and overall brand management to ensure that the integrity of the message, to ensure the integrity of the messages that we provide through the media. Research indicates an absence regionally of social media presence by Caribbean judiciaries, and this will be an innovative introduction to the regional landscape.
With construction of new courts in Malabar, the CJ referred to the matter and urged citizens to look at the construction as moving forward and providing for the public in this sector.
I just have one more word to the public though. When we do start to build, none of us can afford to be selfish. If an honest effort is being made to provide facilities for the benefit of all the public, we cannot take the attitude that we want a court, but as long as it's not in our neighborhood. We have to conduct public business on some kind of rational basis. There must be an assessment of the physical, security, environmental, and other relevant factors, not on the basis of emotion and ill-informed reaction.
Kimberam Kalawan, News 4.
More news after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Trade, Industry, Investment and Communications Minister Vasantha Bharath is congratulating Scotiabank on its 60th year of doing business here in Trinidad and Tobago. The minister took the time to do so even as the company chose Trinidad and Tobago as the location to conduct much of its expansion, servicing the wider Caribbean.
Scotiabank celebrated its 60th anniversary since setting up business here in Trinidad and Tobago. The Canadian-based bank would recently opted to establish its BAC services here in TNT, a move that holds dear to Trade, Industry, Investment and Communications Minister Vasantha Bharath, as it represents this country's strong financial system that can support such a major business leap. He was speaking during a celebration held to mark the occasion, where he also underscored the importance of the relationship between government and the bank, stating that he appreciated how time has allowed us to build a mutually beneficial and respectful partnership. After outlining how government is executing its robust diversification agenda for the financial services sector, the Trade Minister said our approach to trade facilitation and focused investment have also created the conditions for strong returns, as reflected in the success of the financial institutions' shared support services subsector. This sector is now consolidating to attract the middle and back office operations of financial institutions. He congratulated Scotiabank for leading the way in this regard, as Scotiabank has demonstrated great sagacity with its Operations and Shared Services Company Limited, OSSCL, facilitated by the Trinidad and Tobago International Finance Centre, TTIFC, and the Trinidad and Tobago's Free Zones Company Limited, TTFZ. Kimberam Kalawan, News 4.
As the budget debate concludes in Parliament on the 2014-2015 fiscal package, Member of Parliament for Pointe-a-Pierre, the Honourable Aaron MacLeod, is praising his colleagues for the number of infrastructural works completed by the government. The Minister of Labour, Small and Micro-Enterprise Development says his constituency has been well served by the government's drive to place focus on education and address the country's failing infrastructure.
Minister MacLeod indicates that the people of Pointe-a-Pierre have been first-hand beneficiaries of the works undertaken by the government. He says infrastructural works to address flooding and key damaged bridges have been done.
I am proud to state that infrastructural improvement in flood-prone areas in Claxton Bay, Pleasance Park and Marabella have helped to significantly reduce flooding in these areas. The reconstruction of a very major bridge in that constituency, a bridge located at a critical site on our industrial landscape. I am pleased to report that through the government's Bridges Reconstruction Program, construction of the Bulbul Bridge has started in January of this year, and work is progressing in a very, very, very effective way.
He adds that the government's focus on promoting education has been admirable and congratulates the Education Minister for his work done.
In the constituency of Pointe-à-Pierre, over the past 45 months we have, Mr. Speaker, built schools such as the Mount Pleasant Government Primary School, a state-of-the-art facility at Marabella South Secondary, and I'm pleased to announce that on the first day of the school term in September 2014, students of Union Presbyterian Primary School turned up to a spanking new school. I want to thank you very sincerely, Minister of Education, for your commitment to education and the development of all of our young people in Trinidad and Tobago.
The Labour Minister says the focus is on more than just building schools and fixing roads. He highlights that the work done ranges from restoring derelict cemeteries to encouraging entrepreneurship with the construction of markets and fish landing facilities.
We established an Information Communications Technology Center in partnership with the National Energy Skills Center to provide free computer literacy training to constituents 16 years and over. We constructed a new market at Marabella. We built drains and paved numerous primary and secondary roads throughout the constituency. We reconstructed a proper fish landing site and facilities at Claxton Bay. We constructed retaining walls to protect homes and prevent infrastructural damage, such as we were seeing as a result of flooding on an annual basis, essentially. We constructed modern pavilions at Fernandez Park, Claxton Bay, Batu Avenue Recreation Ground in Marabella, and we upgraded Union Recreation Ground at Union Village, Claxton Bay.
Minister MacLeod adds that the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure has pledged their cooperation to continue assisting in the implementation of projects planned for the Pointe-à-Pierre constituency. Gregory McBurney, News 4.
We'll take a break. Sport news and much more when we return. Welcome back. It's now time for some sport news. Now, Europe were the big winners as the curtains came down on the weekend at the 2014 IAAF Continental Cup in Morocco. But Trinidad and Tobago athletes did make their mark on the games representing the Americas. Cleopatra Borrell finished out of the medals in the women's shot put, placing 5th with the best show-off, 18.68 meters. But Michelle Liai showed that she is returning to form following injury with a credible second in the women's 100 meters. She clocked 11.25 seconds behind America's teammate Veronica Campbell-Brown, who finished in 11.8. Sprinter Richard Thompson had a disappointing outing in the men's 100 meters with an 8th place finish, but made up for that in the sprint relay, where he anchored his team to an impressive gold medal. He ran well down the straight to seal the win in 37.97 seconds, the fastest ever time by a 4x100-meter relay quartet on African soil and more than half a second clear of Europe's anchor Christophe Lemaitre. The Americas were always the team to beat with a stellar lineup, which include Kim Collins of St. Kitts and Nevis, American Mike Rogers and Jamaica's Nestor Carter, teaming up with TNT's Torpedo Thompson to capture the gold. Well, that's all for sport news. We take a break. More news when we return. Thank you for staying with us. Film lovers have the opportunity to view a number of local and international films during the 9th installment of the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival, which runs from September 16th to the 30th. News 4 was at the launch and received a taste of what patrons can expect.
The Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival 2014 has officially been launched with a film screening that has set the tone for the 2-week-long event. The Globe Cinema, located at the corner of Park and St. Vincent Streets in Port of Spain, was the venue for the launch and screening of Pan or Music Odyssey.
So how we judge the success of our festival is obviously by numbers, Many more people have come over the years. I think maybe the first year maybe it was 1,000 or a couple of thousand people. Last year it was 18,000, and obviously we're hoping it will be more than that this year. It's also the support we get from the government, the support we get from private sector, from foundations, and they are supporting us because they know that it's a quality product that we're putting together. So these are just some of the ways we know we're doing well. And obviously feedback on Facebook and so on. People seem to love what we're producing and so on, what we're putting together.
The docudrama, written by Kim Johnson, TNT's foremost pan writer and researcher, tells the story of the national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago, the only new acoustic musical instrument invented in the 20th century. The film is said to boldly dramatize the almost mythical invention of pan in the 1940s, and then surges forward to tell the stories of people from all over the world, including Trinidad and Tobago, France, Japan, and the USA, whose love for the instrument draws them each year to the World Championships of Steel Band, or Panorama.
For me, it was, of course, really different. First of all, because of the temperature, because Belgium is like a rainy, cold land. But most of all, it was a great experience for me to work with a Trinidadian team, because we could have brought the whole team from Europe to do it, but we decided to work with the people from here to have more of the substance and of the feeling of the country, and that was a really good idea.
I must say that, and it's important to say, this is a Trinidadian film. The original idea is from Kim Johnson and Jean-Michel Gibert. They are from Trinidad. The crew was Trinidadian. We are talking about Trinidadian history. So working in collaboration with Trinidadian was absolutely necessary for the success of a film like that.
We spoke to some of the local talent that was on display in the docudrama.
It's new for me. I haven't been on film. It was actually my first film. Kind of progressed further with it, but it was really good. I love the fact that they carried it, the time that they carried it to. It was just amazing, simply said. And well, working is always good, so.
Yeah, it was a very fun experience. Being on a film set is always long, drawn-out hours, but having a wonderful crew to work with is always a help. And the cast, it was a very tight-knit, a good camaraderie among the cast members, and that always helps being on a film set.
As the patrons exited, we got an opportunity to gain their feedback on the film.
I thought it was engaging. Also, I liked how they switched between historic information and nowadays. I thought the entire production was done really well. I felt pride and emotion throughout, especially at the end when they went back to the fields in Tacarigua where it all started. So really good for me.
Yeah, I think I have the same feelings. I love how they merge the historical data with the current depiction of pan, and just being able to see it on screen and thinking of when you're in the pan yard, the same emotions you feel, the journeys that each person had in the film, the girl from France, the girl from Japan, the little boy. I think they really capture the essence of what we feel as, fans of pan. I felt that. And the history, because I actually was on the edge of my seat, because I was like, wow, I didn't have like the full understanding of the history, but it was so perfectly gelled together. I mean, I want to see it again.
It was fantastic, amazing performance by Ronaldo Frederick and supporting actors. It was authentic to Trinidad. It was real, and the contrast of flashing back and forward between times kept it new and innovative and kept you interested in what was happening. It was lovely.
The Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival 2014 definitely kicked off with a bang thanks to such an amazing movie. And what better way to celebrate such a timeless event than with the aesthetic of the Globe Cinema. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
And that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. Remember, you can view repeat of our newscast weekdays at 6 a.m. and feel free to visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/OurTV4, and you also can visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/the GISLTD. I'm Joseph Lopez. Thank you for joining us.